grandma's house, and we would sleep over. And it was a big thing for us because sleeping over at grandma's house is the big thing to do. We probably did it maybe once a year. I don't know, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less, but it was a seldom thing. So it was exciting when we got to. And we would go over, take our sleeping bags, which I think she had a hand in getting us one year for Christmas. And we would sleep on the family room floor, and she would roll in the TV from the kitchen on the classic cart that we all know, and turn it on, and it was pretty late, I guess, and Star Trek would be on. And I don't by any means consider myself a Trekkie or a Star Trek fan, but we would get in our sleeping bags, run on that floor, and watch Star Trek. And every time I went over there, I knew it was exciting that we were going to get to watch space TV at Grandma's house. And so I would say that was one of my fondest memories of Grandma and what I've done with her.
Great. Thank you.
My favorite time with you was when Stephanie and I slept over, and Uncle Steve came over. We were all playing cards, and you had a lot of bees outside your window. We didn't know why. So Uncle Steve went out and tried to figure out what the problem was, and tried to drown all the bees, which it didn't work. And he came back in, and there's a bee on his shirt, and she just nonchalantly was like, "Oh, there's a bee on your shirt." Stephanie and I ran into the other room screaming, and he ran outside. It was just a great time, all in all.
My favorite memory that I had with Grandma was when, after the bee incident that Maggie just talked about, we ate dinner, which was like ham and cheese, I think, but it was not like ordinary ham and cheese, because for some reason it tastes like 30 times better at her house. And we had corn on the cob. And, and then we played a card game for a while. And we listened to Bill Cosby, which was just funny. And then Uncle Steve shared stories about Mukamaka ham and how they used to scare my dad, which was really funny. And then we had a sleepover. And it was a good time.
Mike, just sit down. We're in a recording. Yeah.
Okay. I guess my favorite story about Grandma was it's happened recently over the past couple of years. I feel like I've gotten closer to her, and I've been only twice now, but I'd like to do this more. But come over to her house on Thursday nights and have dinner with Uncle Steve and Uncle Mike and Grandma and everything. And I remember the last time I was there, and we sat down and we had our dinner and everything, and then we sat around and listened to bird noises on that book that we had, and it was for me it was really nice because it gave me a break from all the things I was doing. Like, I'm in my grandma's house listening to bird noises, and it was pretty awesome. So I've just enjoyed coming over to and seeing her, and you know, especially since I'm leaving town more and more, it's nice to come back and see her and just sit around in the family room or whatever and eat dinner. So.
Tell us about that. What happened out on the street with your bike? Tell that
story.
We
I'd made what's known as a tall bike for one of my classes, and I brought that over along with the chair I had done for a studio class last summer, and I was out on the street demonstrating how to get up on it and riding around, and all the neighborhood kids came over, and I gave them turns riding on it, and that one tall girl wouldn't get off of it. She was just riding all around on the street. So yeah, but
that's great. Thank you.
A story that I remember about Maggie is that I'm the only grandchild that calls her Maggie among all the other ones, and how every time we go over there, the coloring books in the steps, I use them.
Good. What is it about those that you remember?
Every time we went over there, me and Uncle Michael and her would color and make wiener dog machines and use the crayons that are always sharpened.
What's a wiener dog machine?
Like, there's like a wiener dog and then the box and then the rest of the wiener dog coming out, and it makes it longer.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, start when you're ready.
One of my favorite things about Grandma is when she makes her applesauce and
sweet potatoes because they're always so sugary, unlike my mom's.
Good. Why do you like the applesauce so much?
Um, well, it's all mushy and cold and yummy.
And I have to start up some.
Okay. Hi, Mom. One of my favorite memories is Dad taking us horseback riding on vacation. Every year we go someplace different in Cincinnati that had horses. And we always, as a family, went to Coney Island for the Banks picnic every year. Those are some of the fondest memories I have. You would always pack lunch and we'd go there to Coney Island and ride rides and eat. And Doug could see everybody he worked with. Probably one of the most devastating things was when I enlisted in the service. Because Dad kept telling me I couldn't do it. And I said, I already did. Sorry. But those are the most fondest memories.
And didn't you actually become kind of a good horseback rider at one point? Talk about that story. You rode. Didn't you ride in for Bacon?
I rode a horse at Roger Bacon's one of their football games. They had a horse come in. I guess it was homecoming. They had a horse. They brought a horse down there, and I had a Spartan uniform on. And somebody in the stands, when the horse reared up, somebody in the stands told Dad that I'd be off on my ass, and Dad said, "No, he won't."
How did you get selected for that?
They had an announcement over the PA at school in my senior year. If there's anybody with horseback riding experience, come to the band office. And I, being a senior, I had the most experience, and I was the oldest, so they picked me.
And you also had a long-standing track record there too, didn't you?
Boy, I don't even know how many years, but it was a relay race, 440 relay. It stood until in the 70s probably.
Yeah, cool. Great, thank you.
My favorite memory of Grandma is the bonfires in the backyard and picking up all the leaves.
And how come that's a favorite story?
Because it's really fun and it's just really fun.
Yeah, and how often you guys do that?
About every year.
And
Once every year.
What happened? What would go on once you got there?
We'd pick up the leaves and throw them in the fire and burn them all.
All right, good. All right, good.
As I began to think about the all of the things that Mom has done or been for us, the list was quite long, and I think the most significant thing was a lifetime of support. I don't think I could go through a laundry list of individual pieces and parts, but Mom has always been there and has always been extremely supportive, and not only of me but of every one of her sons. And I know it's been we've all been through different things in our lives, and the one thing that's always been constant is Mom being there. And so it's really been cool from knowing that we can pick the phone up and talk to her and say, here's what I need to do, here's what I want to do, here's what might be nice or whatever. And she's always been extremely supportive of that. It's been really fun over the past since we started having kids, that Mom has been just enjoying having grandchildren and having them around and getting to know them and working with them and playing with them and talking to them. And it's unfortunate that Dad isn't here because I know he would have enjoyed this immensely and seeing what everybody's doing and how they're all doing and what they're all doing and so forth. So it's just there's just so many different things that one of the things that is such an inspiration to me in the whole scheme of life with Mom is the love and dedication and support that she had for Grandma Kroeger, Aunt Raw, and Aunt Mike. And she just did what she needed to do constantly for them and help them, and was always there. And they knew the love and they felt the love and support, and they could really take comfort in all that. And so that has been something that it happened. That things were going on, and it wasn't easy for a number of people. but it was something that Mom, was, if you will, a cross that she bore, and she did it so well. It was such an inspiration.
This is one memory I have of Mom from when we were kids. We would be in the kitchen, and we'd scoot up on the counter and get the cookie jar down from the top shelf very carefully, and we'd have to juggle it to get it down, and we'd slowly open the lid, and just when you get the lid off, you'd hear from Mom from the basement going, "Get away from those cookies!" So that was like a daily occurrence. And for some reason, she could always hear that lid coming off the glass jar.
Okay, one of my favorite memories, we went to lots of doctor visits. And the one we went to, we waited for 3 hours. And we thought this doctor was never going to come in. So first his assistant came in and said all this stuff and, asked Mayor all these questions. And then we waited and waited. Finally, the doctor came in and they decided that they were going to cut part of her toe off. So we're like, okay, we'll talk about it. We'll get back to you. And we left that office, and I had like the worst headache. I go, we have to get something to eat. And I said, Mayor, what do you think? And she goes, I'm not getting my toe cut. And I said, I know. We don't like that doctor. So we both decided that doctor was out.
Perfect. Okay. So I think one of my favorite stories, it's not really a story, it's more of a lifelong friendship with a really cool woman, Mary Kroeger, Mary McGinnis, I guess, originally. And I just have a great memory of many, many times when Mom and I would talk about whatever's going on in my life. It might have been when I was a teenager of breaking up with a girl. She may or may not remember those conversations. I remember talking to her about leaving the Jesuits. And I guess just over the years, just having opportunities when I would go over, have dinner with her, and just enjoy her company, her talking about stories about her own life. And I think one of the things I really enjoyed in particular, and I think Michael has been especially good at this kind of questioning, is that he'll ask her to describe something in her own past and talk about a job that she had. And those have always been really fond memories of mine to hear her talk about her own childhood and things. So I guess overall, the big thing I want to make note of is what a wonderful friend and companion she's been.
Well, one of the memories that just popped in my head and I didn't think of when we were yakking is when we were first engaged way back before you became a priest. There was one Christmas, I think my mom hadn't sold any houses. My dad was between jobs. And so I didn't get any Christmas presents for my family. But I went over to your big shindig. It was at your parents' house, and all the cousins and the aunts and uncles were there. And she got me a new watch. It was a really nice present, and it was the only one I got that year, so it stands out. And then some years later, after you were a priest or you were in the Jesuits, on a whim, I decided to stop by with Rachel. She was like 8 months old, or 7 even. She's one of those little wiry things that was starting to walk. And your mom seemed to get so welcoming. I didn't call. I just showed up at her house, brought Rachel in. Rose got a big kick out of seeing Rachel, but your mom was just so kind. And then about 4 or 5 months later, your mom and dad were going by my house on Witten Road, and I was working in the garden. They stopped and got out of the car. I don't even know if you knew this. And I was putting flowers in, and they came and talked to me, and I thought that was sweet. So when we got back together, even though maybe you not being a priest anymore was a little bit of a adjustment, she never made me feel like I stole you away from anything. She always made me feel part of the family or not less than, even though I felt self-conscious that I'd been married before and stuff. So, of course, I have funny memories, too, about the Queen Latifah when she thought you said Steve Martin cleans his teeth or cleans his feet or whatever. So when I think of funny stories, and that she likes to laugh at a lot of stuff. That is always a good memory for me.
Okay, I'm going to talk about Mary because she's my favorite mother-in-law. And Jim and I have always said we have two great mother-in-laws. And because they are just themselves, they could call more, but I think they think they're bothering us, but they're not. And the thing I like about Mary is because she always gives me encouragement with these 6 kids, and it keeps me going. So I feel like she's so strong, and that's what I like about her the best. Here's Divot, Mary's favorite dog, because she always thinks he's pretty nice, and he doesn't when you guys come over. Divot, say hi, Grandma.